back over to you.
This week, Seattle's police chief warned city leaders to start supporting officers or risk losing more of them. That as the agency faces a staffing shortage.
Need the support of our public officials and our public for the officers. We need them to stand up for the work that the officers, the men and women, have been doing in this organization. We are losing good people, and we know that it's because they feel like they're not supported by public officials, and we need to have that done.
So to talk more about this morning, 3 members of the Seattle Police Department joining our own Brandy Cruz live in studio this morning. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, everyone. So we didn't just pick 3 random police officers. I want to introduce all of you because you all play a different role in this story. First, Detective Carl Wilson. So you're what's called a lateral. You came from another department. You were in New Orleans and Atlanta, and now you help recruit new hires and other lateral recruits. Detective Andre Sinn, you're with the SPD's recruiting division. I've worked with you in the past on stories related to recruiting new officers. And Officer Tre Smith, you're a fairly new officer. You've been on for 5 years, you told me. And interesting, you were in the SPD Explorer program in college, so before you actually became a full-blown official officer. So I want to thank you guys for being here. Andre, I want to start with you. Okay. To hear the chief come out and say that, she has been very diplomatic about this situation up to this week, where she was very blunt about it. How dire do you see, you do this every day, how dire do you see the recruiting situation to be?
Well, from what the chief said, we really appreciate her coming out and saying that. I think me personally feel that way, having spoken to some of the officers that have left the department. I love the department, they love the department, but every day when you come to work, regardless of what your profession is, regardless of what you do, you want to feel that you're being respected, you want to feel valued, and so everybody has a tipping point, and depends on where that tipping point is, but some of the officers have reached that point, and so they've decided to leave the department for other agencies.
It's hard to recruit an officer. It's hard. It takes a lot of time.
It does. It does. One of the things that we do really well is, I've been there for 15 years. I love what I do. I think I have the best job on the department. Everybody kind of feels they have that spot, right? For me, that's where I think I love that job. We do a great job with customer service. I'm surprised at how many other agencies do not contact candidates back in a timely fashion. The other thing we do is we go to everything. We don't say no to any event. So we're on the recruitment angle, we're doing okay, but that's a nationwide issue, not just specific to Seattle PD.
But really quickly, and I'll ask you gentlemen a question of that, on the political angle of this, is it annoying for you to spend all that time recruiting someone to get them through the process, which takes a long time, to have them leave because they don't like the political climate of the city?
You know, it's frustrating, but at the same time, folks have to do what's best for them. They're making that decision. They're doing best, whether it be quality of life or whatever the case may be. It's frustrating to see them go, and hopefully we can implement some things to keep them around.
Detective Wilson, you had to know. You had to know when you came here that there are officers here who felt like the city wasn't supporting them. You came just ahead of the consent decree, right? Just ahead of kind of the fallout with the federal government.
Yes.
Were there any concerns back when you came in 2009 about, am I going to a city that's going to support the work that I'm doing?
Well, I came on in 2015.
2015. Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes.
So I had seen that you'd left one of the departments in 2009.
Yes. So I came on in 2015, and not a real concern, because I'd reached a point in my career where, you have personal goals and you have professional goals. And Seattle, being a larger city, was an agency, SPD was an agency where I could obtain what I needed moving forward. So room for growth, room for movement, and it's just a larger agency. So yeah, it wasn't a concern to keep me from coming here.
And now your work for the department is trying to convince other officers from other agencies to come here as well. What is the sell that you make to them, given the headlines, given what we heard from the police chief this morning? How do you, in good faith, go to your brothers and sisters in blue in another city and say, yeah, come to Seattle, all is well?
Well, I am a part of the recruitment cadre, but my primary function is a background investigator. So I enjoy, at this point in my career, it's kind of like my legacy when I hire people. I'm able to just give them, provide an access for a career. That's been great to me. So I just give them the positives of it, and police work is cyclical. And so, you can just wait it out, and eventually it'll come back around. I mean, I've been doing this for 17 years. So it's not hard to sell it for me.
Tre, From the infamous, were you in the lip sync video, right? From the infamous SPD lip sync video, if he looks familiar to you.
Yeah.
So you've had some fun while you're on the
I have,
agency. But, you know, no one in the agency is blind to the challenges the city's facing that the chief outlined this week. How do you, as an officer, how do you balance that? How do you sort of put that in one compartment and then also continue to do your job?
You know, I started doing policing because I just loved the job, and I think any police officer will tell you that they join policing because they enjoy doing police work. So it's kind of when I'm at work, they're two different things. I'm at work to serve the community and do what I have to do to enforce law, protect people, help people. But then also, you know, when you're not actively doing your job, it's kind of in the back of your mind. It's, you know, it'd be great if we had a little more support, and it sucks when people who are great police officers, you know, leave the department because, you know, it makes more work for everyone else, and we have to continuously bring in new people. So
Staffing has a direct correlation to public safety and also to the safety of officers who are responding to major incidents. Do you feel safe every day when you go do your job? To the extent that a police officer can feel safe with what they're responding to.
I feel safe because the people that I work with, I know that they're always going to be there, and they'll do whatever it takes to get to me and to help me out. So I feel safe because of the people who we are recruiting and who we are hiring.
But Detective Sinn, let's talk about that. And I want you to be blunt with me and realistic, because we are talking about public safety.
Sure.
What I tried to explain on the other day is sometimes staffing challenges begin years before they become a true emergency, because it takes so long to get a new officer in uniform. When do you see this, if we continue on the track that we're going, losing a couple officers net? When does this become a true public safety emergency? And what you're looking at on your screen, by the way, are some letters or forms that former officers filled out when they decided to leave, and talking about the reasons. But when does this become a true emergency where the safety of the city's at risk?
Yeah, Brandy, I don't know if there's a specific number for us or for me what we're looking for. You know, the good strides as far as we've hired 44 officers this year. Now, 22 have resigned, 29 have retired. There's not much you can do about the retirements. June historically is a large month for retirement because of the way our pension system is set up. So that's why the large number of retirements are skewed in June. So lost 22 technically to perhaps other departments, hired 44. We just had a hiring interview yesterday where they hired 11 new officers that are not part of these numbers. So we're slowly plugging away at that. What we need to do is kind of fill that gap and hope those officers, you know, find enough support, feel validated enough to stay here so we can get those numbers back on top.
Make your quick pitch to somebody watching who either is considering a career in law enforcement or to at another department about why they should come to the Seattle PD to help us out with this situation.
Well, I've been here for 21 years. I love this department. I think it's a great area. We are the largest department in the city, in the state of Washington. We have 1,400 officers, great officers, men and women. We have over 40 different specialty units. That is a draw when you're looking at a career of 20, 25, 30 years, is that anytime you get stagnant in your job, you can move to the next one. That's usually the draw for us. And then we work with great folks. We get compensated well, and we really enjoy the work that we do, and we're here to make a difference. And those of you that feel like you want it's time, we're getting a lot of individuals that are seeking this out as their second or third career. We're not just hiring young, 21-year-olds. That's great. We're hiring a great cross-section of individuals in their 30s and 40s coming to us because the current job does not have value to them, and they see this as having value and that they can make a difference.
Let me ask you a quick, Tre. Do you think, very blunt question, I don't want you to get too involved in politics, that's not your role, but you are, in the rank and file. Are there officers who are leaving because they don't want to be part of reform? Have you heard that from anyone?
No, I honestly don't believe that. I think that police officers are leaving because honestly, they just don't feel supported. They go out and they do their jobs, and they're criticized if they do, and they're criticized if they don't.
Sounds like the press. It sounds like my job.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Detective Wilson, I'll give you the final word on this. What would your message be to city leaders who are watching? I was telling you we were supposed to have Shama Sawant on at 9:30. I had planned to ask her about this. Unfortunately, she can't make it in anymore. One of the biggest critics. What would your message be to just all city leaders about what you guys need?
Oh, we just need to be supported and just understand police officers deal with every day multiple different instances which we make lifelong decisions. And, there's some people behind the scenes who can take years to quarterback and think about what we did, and we're making those decisions multiple times a day. It's a lot. It's a lot. And the things that we do encounter, we take with us and we take home, you know. So think about it. It's not an easy gig, but I wouldn't want to do anything else.
All right, gentlemen, we appreciate you being here. Officer Smith, Detective Sinn, Detective Wilson. You know, on behalf of the city, I know a lot of people do appreciate the work that you guys do. They might not vocalize it as much, but a lot of people just hope they have a good police department who's out there acting in good faith every day. And I hope as a city we can all understand that we should all care if there's low staffing. We all want the city to be safe. We want you guys to have enough resources to respond to critical emergencies and keep people doing their jobs. So thank you all for being here, talking about this important issue.